Most people don't realize this until life quietly teaches it to them the hard way. The kindest person in the room is rarely the most respected. And centuries ago, Niccolò Machiavelli understood exactly why. Not because humans are evil, but because human nature is far more uncomfortable than we want to admit. Because people say they admire kindness, but deep down, they respond to power. And once you start noticing it, you can't unsee it. You see it in schools. The quiet student who tries to please everyone becomes invisible. The calm, confident student who speaks less suddenly controls the atmosphere without even trying. You see it in friendships. The person always available, always forgiving, always understanding, eventually becomes taken for granted. While the person with boundaries, the one who can walk away, the one who stays emotionally controlled, somehow becomes more valued. And you see it online more than anywhere else. The internet rewards dominance, confidence, certainty, not softness, not hesitation, not endless kindness. Machiavelli wrote about this over 500 years ago, and one of his most controversial ideas was simple. If a ruler cannot be both loved and feared, it is safer to be feared. For centuries, people misunderstood that sentence. They imagined cruelty, violence, tyranny. But Machiavelli wasn't glorifying evil. He was observing reality. Because affection is unstable, human emotions change quickly. People love you when you help them, until helping them becomes expected. Then your kindness stops looking special. It starts looking weak, predictable, available. And the terrifying part is, most people don't even realize they're doing this. Think about modern workplaces. There's always that overly nice person. The one who says yes to everything, covers shifts, avoids conflict, never pushes back. At first, everyone says they appreciate them. But over time, respect quietly disappears. Because humans instinctively test boundaries. And when someone never defends their time, energy, or standards, people unconsciously lower their value. Not always out of malice. Sometimes it's just psychology. Machiavelli understood something most people still struggle to accept. People often confuse kindness with inability, and confidence with authority. That's why calm people feel powerful. Not loud people, not aggressive people, calm people. Because emotional control creates uncertainty, and uncertainty creates psychological weight. The person who stays composed while everyone else reacts emotionally automatically appears stronger, even if they never say much. Especially if they never say much. Silence has a strange effect on human beings. It creates mystery, and mystery creates perception. That's why the most respected people are rarely the ones constantly explaining themselves. They don't overshare every emotion. They don't beg to be understood. They don't desperately chase approval. And because of that, people naturally become more careful around them, more attentive, more respectful. Modern culture tells people to always be softer, always available, always agreeable. But reality doesn't reward endless openness. Reality rewards emotional stability, boundaries, controlled energy, the ability to remain calm under pressure. And this becomes painfully obvious in social hierarchies. Notice how people treat someone who fears disappointing others. Then notice how they treat someone who can calmly say no. One seeks validation. The other communicates self-respect. And human beings instinctively recognize the difference. Even children understand this psychologically. In schools, students often test the teacher who seems too nice. Not because they're evil, because humans naturally explore limits. Authority without boundaries feels fragile. That's why Machiavelli believed fear was more reliable than affection. Not terror, not abuse, psychological certainty. The understanding that consequences exist. The understanding that this person cannot simply be pushed endlessly. And maybe that's the darkest truth of all. People often respect what they cannot easily control. That's why mystery feels powerful. That's why emotional restraint feels intimidating. That's why the person who speaks the least in the room often attracts the most attention. Because humans are deeply affected by perception. More than logic, more than words. Perception. And social media amplified this instinct to dangerous levels. Today, image is power. Presence is power. Attention is power. People carefully construct personalities online designed to appear untouchable. Because deep down, everyone understands something ancient. Perceived weakness invites pressure. Perceived strength creates space. And ironically, the strongest people are usually not cruel at all. They simply understand restraint. They understand timing. They understand silence. They understand that constantly proving your kindness to the world often destroys your value. Real power rarely looks emotional. It looks controlled, measured, patient. That doesn't mean becoming cold, or manipulative, or heartless. Machiavelli's ideas become dangerous when people use them without wisdom, because fear without humanity becomes tyranny. But kindness without boundaries becomes self-destruction. And somewhere between those two extremes is the balance most people spend their entire lives trying to find. The ability to stay kind without becoming easy to disrespect. The ability to stay calm without becoming emotionally distant. The ability to command presence without saying much at all. And maybe that's why these ideas still survive centuries later. Because human nature changed less than we think. The technology evolved. The world evolved. But people still respond to confidence. Still test boundaries. Still follow emotional certainty. Still respect controlled strength. Even now, especially now. So the next time you wonder why the loudest kindness often goes unnoticed, while calm authority silently controls the room, remember this. Machiavelli wasn't trying to teach people how to become monsters. He was trying to reveal the hidden mechanics of power that already exist inside human nature. The same patterns quietly shaping schools, friendships, workplaces, relationships, and the modern digital world around you every single day. And once you start seeing them, you begin to understand people differently forever. If you enjoy uncovering the darker psychological truths behind human behavior, power, and modern society, subscribe to Shadow Forge, because some truths are uncomfortable, but impossible to ignore once seen.